Revit has the ability to calculate heating and cooling loads for your building project. Once you are ready to calculate heating and cooling loads, switch to the Analyze ribbon. On the Reports and Schedules panel, select Heating and Cooling Loads. Revit displays the Heating and Cooling Loads dialog. In this dialog, you can see a preview of the model on the left and several parameters on the right. There are actually two tabs, General and Details. On the General tab, verify that the building type and ground plane settings are correct. Then, click in the Location field and click on the adjacent button to open the Location, Weather, and Site dialog. In this dialog, on the Location tab, select the building location using the Internet Mapping Service, and then also specify a weather station. Then click OK to close the dialog and return to the Heating and Cooling Loads dialog. For the project phase, you can choose the proper building phase if necessary. Next, you can adjust the sliver space tolerance, which is the maximum distance that Revit will ignore before it creates a shading surface to analyze. In the Building Service field, you can select one of the available HVAC system types. I'll select Water Loop Heat Pump. If you click in the Building Construction Value field, you can click the button to open the Building Construction dialog. For Building Infiltration class, you can select Loose, Medium, Tight, or None to specify the estimated amount of outdoor air that enters the building through leaks in the building envelope. Next, for the report type, you can choose the level of information provided in the Heating and Cooling Loads report. You can select Simple, Standard, or Detailed. I'll choose Detailed. Lastly, you can select whether or not to use load credits. Next, switch to the Details tab. Here, you can choose to view the spaces or the analytical surfaces. When you switch from one to the other, the preview changes. Also, the spaces in the building model are organized into branches based on the HVAC zone. You can expand a branch to view the spaces in that zone. If you have Analytical Model selected, you can expand each space to see the analytical surfaces that bound that space. Those surfaces can be further expanded. For example, there may be more than one exterior wall, or there may be a window in the exterior wall. All this information is in the tree. If there is an error in one of the spaces, the warning symbol will appear next to it. You want each space to be bounded by an analytical surface. For example, if there is a wall that does not have a space element next to it, the wall will not be recognized in some third-party analysis programs. There are also buttons on the right side of the dialog to highlight or isolate the object selected in the tree. These are actually toggles and can be used if you are not sure where a certain space or surface is located in the building model. You can also orbit the preview like you would a 3D view, and change the visual style if you wish. If you are satisfied with the settings but are not ready to calculate the loads, you can select Save Settings to save all of the settings and close the dialog. When you're ready to calculate the loads, you can select Calculate, and Revit will begin calculating the heating and cooling loads. Depending on the size of the building, this could take some time. Once Revit has completed the calculations, a load report appears. The report complexity will vary depending on the report type selected in the settings. Also, be aware that the report appears in the Reports branch of the project browser under Loads Reports. As you can see, this report is very complex. There is a summary for the building, each level, each zone, and then each space. Just as with any other heating and cooling load engine, it takes some time to understand the reports and become comfortable with the outputs. If you want, you can return to the model, make any changes, and recalculate the loads to generate another report. Revit will simply create another report, and the other ones will remain in the project.